Shalom everyone, this is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehuda Ben Shomer, and welcome to the Daily Drash. Today's Daily Drash is taken from Psalm 33, verses 10 and 11, and it says, Adonai thwarts the plans of nations, frustrates the intentions of peoples, but Adonai's plans hold good forever, the intentions of his heart from age to age. Sometimes we watch the news and watch all the political chaos that's going on, and I don't know, what party you adhere to or what side of the aisle you stand on. It doesn't matter. A lot of times we'll watch the news and we'll just see the political circus and we'll just shake our heads and say, what is this world coming to? And the way the media spins the politics, it gives us a sense of urgency, and it makes us think, oh no, the world's going to end here in the next week because, this politician is saying this, or the president has decided to do that, or whatever. And we think, wow, everything's just falling apart and going to hell in a handbasket. But this verse reassures me that nothing happens without God's knowledge, without God's say-so, without it somehow being in his plan, working it out for his will and his way. It says, Adonai thwarts the plans of the nations, frustrates the intentions of peoples, but Adonai's plans hold good forever, the intentions of his heart from age to age. So no matter what seems to be going on the surface, no matter what seems to be going on in front of our eyes politically or on the world stage, God is ultimately using this for his ends. And sometimes it does appear that evil gets the upper hand, because a lot of times God will allow evil to thrive because evil ends up destroying itself. It once it grows and it flourishes to a certain point, it's like a star that grows so big it goes supernova. It will end up destroying itself. It cannot thrive for long without it self-destructing. And Romans 8:28, I'd like to remind you of that all things work together for good, for them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So, everything is in God's plan, and sometimes it appears things get worse before it gets better. Remember that there's always the darkness, that it's the darkest before the dawn, and that the storm will get worse before it gets better. So sometimes things have to come to a crescendo before and to a peak before it goes back to homeostasis, before it goes back to, it levels out and balances itself out. So don't worry. God is still on the throne. God is still in control. It may not make sense to us why things are happening the way they are, or why things are going on the way they do, but we know that God is infinite. He sees the big picture. He sees the entire thing. We're finite. We only see a small portion of it, so a lot of it doesn't make sense to us. It's like standing too close to a picture and just seeing the individual, little circle newsprint bubbles and pixels, and it doesn't make sense. It just looks like random chaos. But when we pull back, those little dots that make up the newsprint picture, all of a sudden they start taking shape and form, and we can see something emerge from it. So sometimes it's just the fact that we can't see the forest because of all the trees. We're just too close to the situation. But God himself, he sees the big picture, and he's working it out for the good and for the betterment of all. So don't worry, don't stress. Maybe even turn the news off. Don't worry about it. Just let things go and just pray about the situation. Pray that God will have his will in the situation in politics and on the world stage. And don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Don't plaster stuff on Facebook. Don't, just mull over it and argue about it at work or at the water cooler or with family or friends, because it really gets nowhere. Just pray about the situation. The Apostle Paul was inspired by God to write, pray for our leaders, pray for those that are in charge. And he was talking about the Roman government that was oppressing believers at the time. So pray for these things. Anyways, I've rambled on long enough. Go out there and have a great day. Don't let politics ruin your day. Shalom and Shavua Tov. Hey, want something to talk about? Go to my YouTube channel, Raybash Katan, and look for the playlist, Raybash's Ramblings. There, I ramble on about things that are important to the spiritual community.